think it's time we have a little bit of coffee. Here he is, Ryan McCarthy, for the second time this week. Ryan, how are you, buddy?
I'm doing all right. Good week off, doing productive stuff around the house. Kind of centers you a little bit.
Man, twice in a week, this is turning into Dunkin' Donuts around here.
Mm-hmm. So what's the brew this morning?
I got me some Invader Coffee pumpkin pecan.
Pumpkin pecan.
I wish it were a whiskey, but
I have been saying that since the start of the NFL season.
That's what you showed us the first time you were here.
That's what I showed you.
Guests appear via the Invader Coffee guest line. Invader Coffee, fuel for the fearless. Use the code Snowman to get 15% off your order. All right, Mr. McCarthy. The floor is yours.
Before we do that, though.
Yeah.
Did you guys see what Joey Galloway said yesterday during the
No.
He suggested, I'm paraphrasing here, so don't quote me. I'm paraphrasing. He suggested that Curtis Rourke should sit out Saturday's game against Ohio State.
Why?
Because he had concerns that he would wind up like Jordan Travis did last year and have a broken ankle and would be out for the NFL season next year. I think because Joey Galloway is an OSU alum, he just wants him to sit out so Ohio State has a better positioning in the college football playoff.
What if Indiana beats Ohio State?
Everyone could see through that. Everyone saw through that.
If Indiana beats Ohio State, that not only proves that Indiana are not frauds, but it also proves that Ohio State's on the fall off.
Listen, Indiana is no slouch.
Who do we hate? Ohio State. Come on, guys. Jeez, work with me.
I'm a KU fan. I say K-State.
I ain't got a dog in this pony show.
I consider myself a pseudo Penn State fan. 2020 kind of ruined college football for me, amongst other things.
but you also got to look at the last 2 weeks in college football. You've had two upsets. Well, you've had more than two upsets, but two very important upsets to the college football playoffs. One knocked Iowa State out of the race, which was KU beating Iowa State, and the other one dropped BYU out of a bye, which was KU beating BYU.
Which leads to this week, and we'll really dive into that tomorrow. Today, however, as we began the show, I said, Joe Douglas, you fired. The floor is yours.
The supervillain is getting himself ready.
Listen, Father McGregor, settle down.
It's Father O'Shaughnessy. I'm not Conor frickin' McGregor.
You sound more Scottish than Irish. You're Scotch-Irish. You're Father McGregor. Anyway, Woody Johnson. Have a seat. So yesterday, as I'm doing my household chores, cleaning out the study/studio, making it a little bit more presentable, although you can see in the background there's still some work to do, but I see the news on the wire come down that Joe Douglas has been fired by the New York Jets. Not shocking, because this is how the season has gone, between ineptitude on offense, the defense that's suddenly gone soft, Robert Saleh being fired. Now we're coming to see it's rather ill-timed. Now Joe Douglas got his walking papers. At first, I said to myself, all right, this is going to be justifiable. He's in the last season of his contract. This was a year that he had to prove that he belonged, considering last year was a mulligan with all the stuff that happened with Aaron Rodgers and the offense going flat and the defense still picking things up. Last year was a mulligan for both Saleh and for Joe Douglas. And you figured if they had a bad year this year, both these guys would be out.
Yep.
Well, Saleh's gone by after week 5.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's because it's the bye week and why not make some news during the bye week, because this is who we are as Jets, as this is what we're used to as Jets fans. Joe Douglas has been shown the door. And I had some thoughts on it last night. I know credentials required. Ding. So you can check that out. It's the first half hour of the show is just talk about Joe Douglas and the things he did positively and the things he did that were the positive things he did, the negative things he did, which all led to what happened yesterday. So after yesterday's recording was finished, this report comes out from The Athletic, courtesy of Diane Rossini and Zach. I can't remember Zach Rosenblatt, who's a beat writer for the Jets for The Athletic. And we'll talk about Joe Douglas' accomplishments. The 2022 draft was arguably the greatest draft ever in Jets history, because he picked up Garrett Wilson, you picked up Jermaine Johnson, you picked up Breece Hall, amongst others. Last year, you picked up Will McDonald. 2020, at least, 2020, Michael Carter landed. That was the only draft pick that landed. In 2021, they pick up Elijah Vera Tucker in that trade with Minnesota, which was, to be determined, because he's had a history of injuries, but otherwise he's still a solid guard. But this article brought up a lot of stunning implications, and this is courtesy of U Stadium. It gives the cliff notes from the article, so I can't go into the article. I'll have to read it later. I have a subscription until January, but this is some of the things that Woody Johnson did that pretty much led up to that are coming out because of due to sources in the Jets organization. So after the team's loss to the Broncos in Week 4, Jets owner Woody Johnson called a meeting with coaches and front office executives and suggested the team bench Aaron Rodgers in favor of Tyrod Taylor. The move apparently stunned coaches and Douglas, who convinced Woody out of it, and that would embarrass Aaron and not sit well with the locker room. So there's one of the things that Mr. Johnson, one of the things you try to strong arm yourself into. But wait, there's more.
Oh no,
there's more. Robert Wood Johnson, aka Woody Johnson, fired Robert Saleh with no consultation. He blocked Bryce Huff's extension, which would have kept him on the team. Instead, he wound up walking to the Eagles. He nixed a trade that Joe Douglas was ready to make to Denver, which would have brought in Jerry Jeudy and sent Allen Lazard and a day 2 pick to the Broncos. But wait, there's more. There's more. Woody Johnson's micromanagement of Joe Douglas escalated after forcing Douglas to fire close friend Rex Hogan. Following the move, it's, quote, theorized, unquote, Douglas told staffers, quote, Woody should just fire me now, close quote. But wait, there's more.
Oh, no.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. When Chad Alexander, Douglas's top advisor, left for the Chargers to take the assistant GM position, Johnson blocked Douglas from replacing him, further diminishing his authority.
Oh, good grief.
But wait, there's more.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah.
Hassan Reddick held out after Johnson refused to negotiate a contract extension. Tyron Smith and Mike Williams' signings were Johnson-driven. Johnson pushed for the Devontae Adams trade. Johnson benched Tony Adams against the wishes of the coaching staff. And last but not least, Aaron Rodgers likely won't return, with Johnson preferring to move on. All that in one really very shocking article. Again, I'll have to read it for myself later to get more details, but that's from you. Credit to U Stadium for giving me the cliff notes to go on today. When the Snowman asked me, hey, you want to come on and talk about Joe Douglas firing? I'm like, sure. Yeah, let's do it. My doppelganger, apparently, because we had the same hairstyle and the same facial hairstyle. And like I said last night, don't cry for Joe Douglas. He'll get the remainder of his contract, which is probably somewhere between $6 and $8 million. But this comes back to this comes back to culture. This is all culture. Now, I know you guys like to have Aaron Rodgers as your punching bag on this show. I know our buddy Cole Johnson likes to have Aaron Rodgers as his punching bag. The season's not on him. The season's not on Saleh. The season's not on Douglas. The season is all on Woody Johnson. Mr. Johnson. Yes, you. The season is on you.
Because yes, Woody, it is you.
Because Woody, yes, Woody, it is you.
And
It has been you. It's always been you since 2000, forever and never, hopefully soon. Amen.
And that has now become a graphic.
Yep.
It will.
Do it. Thank you. You're welcome. Well, thank you, and you're welcome.
A pause for this ad.
So I realized that I think even though it's not advertised,
Right.
there has to be a place for stupid people. We don't know because we're not stupid, so we don't know anything about it, like a secret club society.
Oh my gosh.
So I come to the conclusion that he graduated from SU, stupid university. Yeah, get all the stupid ass letters that go along with graduating high honors of being stupid. I can't do no more, man.
Aminos, dominos, vamonos. Stupid university. Where everyone graduates. Magna cum stupid.
So yes, Mr. Johnson, that's where you are currently, the alumni, you are now the Dean Emeritus at large at Stupid University, right next to Antonio Brown, right next to Gerald, all those owners. Anyway,
Right up there next to 70-year-old Kraft mac and cheese bread.
6 Super Bowls can't be wrong. I'll just say that.
But
let's get back to Mr. Johnson here. Arguably, actually, no. He and his brother share the crown as the worst professional sports owners in New York. Worse than Jimmy Dolan. Worse than the Steinbrenners. I mean, if I had a power ranking of New York professional team sports owners, they would be somewhere around 685th. That's how low I think of this franchise, because I was sold all sorts of excitement this year. I was sold. This is the best roster we've ever had in 20 years that I've been in the 25 years that I've had this, that I've been a part of this team. This is the best roster that's ever been constructed for the New York Jets. When he said that, it wasn't a compliment to Joe Douglas. It was himself patting himself on the back, taking all the credit, saying, look at what I've done. Look what I've done. Look what I've brought in. I brought in Aaron Rodgers. I brought in Tyron Smith. I brought in Mike Williams. And a lot of it has to do with the fact that he's trying to please the fans. Listen, I love our fan base. We've been loyal. We've been ridiculously loyal to the point of people giving a bunch of their money every year for season tickets. You know what's going to be the hardest job in America come 2025? Ticket sales for the New York Jets, because they're going to have a really tough time convincing fans to renew their season tickets. Because after this season, I don't know about my fellow Jets fans, I've become numb. I had a conversation with my dad last night after I got done recording. We talked about this a little bit. I said, this season has made me numb to football. I can't enjoy football anymore. He says, you kind of seem that way when we talk about football these days. Yeah, because all the joy has been sucked out because this team that was supposed to make the playoffs this year, maybe win the division, is 3-8, tied for last place in the division, and with zero to little to no hopes Oh, and apparently Woody Johnson, Mr. Johnson, allegedly you wanted the Jets to come to practice during their bye week. Which is the best time to rest your players is during their bye week. Let them go. Let them be with their families. Let them go on vacation. Let them just relax and regroup. Nope. You said, nope, they got to practice. This is why you're awful at your job. Your job should be to sign the paycheck. Your job should be to hire the right people. You've only done one of these things well over the 25 years you've owned this team. And it's not hire the right people. So, in a way, I'm really glad that Trump got elected because we're not sure. I mean, he may be the UK and Moody Johnson may be the UK ambassador again, which leaves the owner in charge to his brother Chris Johnson. We know his history of hiring head coaches and GMs. Remember Adam Gase? Remember Mike McCagnon?
Mike McCagnon.
Dear God. Dear God.
So, where are you when we need you?
Oh. So he's got several options here. Number one, your first option is to hire president of football operations to start the GM search. It's been suggested that Curtis Martin become president of football operations, but I don't know what kind of experience he has in running a football team.
Well, he knows how to run a football at least.
He knows how to run a football. Thank you, Shane. He knows how to run a football. You know, and I know best because he played for both our teams. So you have that option. Hire president of football operations, get out of the way, let them do the work. Let them hire the next GM and let them work together to hire the next coach. Ben Johnson, we're gonna throw the bag at you, buddy. Just be aware. Number two, you can go off to Britain if you're appointed as UK ambassador. Let your brother hire president of football operations and let them do the right thing and getting this roster right. Or C, you can sell the team to somebody who cares. Because obviously your job as owner, you're basically letting the media run what you do.
Mm-hmm.
And that makes bad ownership. That creates bad ownership decisions. You can't let outside forces run your business. You have to decide for yourself. And unfortunately, all the decisions you've made yourself, from the Saleh firing to suggesting that they bench Aaron Rodgers to now this firing of Joe Douglas, has led you to another awful record, another likely year of being out of the playoffs, and absolute revolt amongst Jets fans. So those are your options. According to me, at least. You do what you do. You're worth billions of dollars. I mean, heck, you bought the team for $635 million. You could earn 10 times your investment, so to speak, if you sell this team. But sell to somebody who cares. Sell to somebody who cares, who wants to win, wants to hire the right people to put a great product in the field. Because right now, there ain't nobody coming to your games at MetLife Stadium, that hovel of a stadium, that utterly sterile existing in the Meadowlands in New York.
Mm-hmm.
All gonna be, and it's gonna be filled with visiting teams fans again, as it has been for the last decade and a half. So you got your choices. I wish you the best, but I also don't wish you the best because of what you did with this team this year. So, Ms. Johnson, you are dismissed.
Well, that will take care of that.
Yep. Now, my question is, isn't it normal for New York media to always ride ownership? I mean, look what they've been doing for the longest time anyway.
Mm-hmm. So true.
Yeah, but unlike other teams, the Johnsons actually listen to what they suggest because
Mhm.
There's your problem.
because they want to be the favorite. They want to
Yeah.
this is the people pleasing ownership group.
This is
This is
true.
not an ownership group doing what's best for the team. This is an ownership doing what's best to keep the media on their side.
Hmm.
And it's going to be 16 consecutive seasons with no playoff appearance, or for 15 consecutive seasons without a playoff appearance.
I feel for him. I absolutely feel for them. I do. I feel for them. Mr. McCarthy, thank you very much for dropping by. We appreciate you very, very much.
Thank you. I
And
had a
come
lot,
on
like I
back.
said, I had a lot to say on last night's program, but as soon as
Mhm.
when this came out, I had, and when you said you invited me on today, oh man, I just had to get this off my chest. I've been saving this.
And I'm glad you did.
I actually didn't sleep for part of the night because I had so much running around
I
this big
know.
old cranium of mine,
I
You know
know.
the
finding the
feeling.
right words to say.
Hey, we all know the feeling. Thank you, Mr. McCarthy. As I mentioned, all our guests appear via Invader Coffee. Use the code Snowman to get 15% off your order. Check out No Credentials Required, where you don't need a press pass to talk sports with our buddy Ryan McCarthy and his crew. You have a Saturday brunch, do you not?
We have Saturday. We have a program on Saturday, 10 a.m. Eastern, and then we have a program next Thursday on Thanksgiving.
Okay.
We're doing a Thanksgiving special at 10 a.m. Eastern,
Thanksgiving special. All right.
and always a Tuesday, 7:05 Eastern OG show.
We got it.
And don't forget Three Rails Metro Hockey Podcast too.
Nice.
Drops on
I
Mondays.
like that podcast.
Thank you.
I've subscribed to it. I like that podcast.
Thank you.
I like how that's set up. Thank you, sir. We appreciate you.
Thanks, fellas.